to Allie Menegakis, who is a criminal defense attorney from Charleston.
Okay.
Also undecided.
All right. Hi, Allie.
Hi. I'm also a former public defender, a proud one.
Okay,
I actually
great.
worked with Tammy, who was a former colleague of mine, and had to leave in part because it was unsustainable financially, and also because it's hard work with
It's really
overwhelming caseload.
Yeah, I've only done a few volunteer cases, and even doing that, I know how devoted you must be to your clients, but also to the system of justice to do the work. So thank you for that.
Thank you. But my question today is more about our clients. One thing that I think all public defenders learn, and prosecutors, I know you're a former prosecutor, learn early on, is that the majority of our clients are victims of the criminal justice system, not because they're bad people or because they're indifferent to our laws, but really because they are themselves victims of their circumstances. An overwhelming majority of my clients suffer from mental illness, from substance abuse, from homelessness and poverty. And unfortunately, our criminal justice system is structured in a way that it's geared towards punishment and not towards treatment or rehabilitation. So many of our clients end up coming back and back into the system over and over. And to make matters worse, Senator, here in South Carolina, we don't have a speedy trial rule. And because of that, our clients are sitting in jail for months and years. In Charleston, the average wait time for a trial is over 2 years. So our clients are pleading guilty just to go home. I know that this is an issue for our state legislatures. We have to urge them to vote to change these things. But what can you, if anything, do as president to help us and our clients with these issues?
Okay, what a beautifully worded question. Thank you. And thank you for getting into those details, because I think it's really important that people understand what's really going on here. So the first thing, and this is based on my 8 years experience, where I will say I saw firsthand the institutional racism that we see in the system, and also how people can be on what you refer to as kind of a revolving door if we don't do this right. So many people that end up in the criminal justice system are there because of mental illness, as you point out, or are there because of addiction. And so I am a big believer in drug courts. I've actually, both when I was the DA and then also when I got to the Senate, I've led the efforts on federal drug courts to get funding, and we finally have federal drug courts. For me, this is personal. When I was growing up, my dad struggled with alcoholism. By the time my husband and I got married, my dad had his third DWI. And that's when the judge said, that's it. It's going to be treatment or jail. And my dad chose treatment. And because that treatment was available, in his words, he was pursued by grace. Because of his faith and his family and that treatment, he is now 91 and he's sober. He's in assisted... He is in assisted living, and his AA group still visits him, and in his words, 1.5 years ago, it's hard to get a drink around here anyway. But back to your stories, I think that having mental health courts, so that when people come in, you don't want to be, as a prosecutor, you're not like a business, you don't want to see repeat customers. How do you get people off of that? 1, mental health courts are a good idea. 2, drug courts and having treatment available. 3, looking at sentencing. We just passed the First Step Act. I was one of the co-sponsors. I actually think if I'm president, I'm going to let it know, as you can tell, a lot of the ins and outs of this system. How do we get it to the state level that you're asking about, where 90% of the people are incarcerated, is the Second Step Act. And that means incentives for state and local governments to reduce the sentences for nonviolent offenders. That means giving people rights and having appropriate reentry when they come back into our society, and treating them with dignity and allowing them to vote when they get out immediately. It is a whole different way of looking at the criminal justice system, and I'm just very excited to work on it and look forward to working with you. So thank you.
Senator, I want to bring in